Hey, everybody out there. I want to welcome everyone to the first episode. You're seeing it here first of Tasha's Talks. So I want to welcome Tasha to the panel, who has been seen before recapping various different shows with me. Famously, she became famous for recapping the Traders because I felt she had extremely good takes on the Traders and some other shows, but most recently Big Brother.
Hi, everyone.
So my hope here and Tasha's hope here is that she is going to have her own segment on her own YouTube channel, follow her channel, where she is going to give these takes. We have to sort out and figure out how often and when she's going to do that, but this is going to be the start. So I'm excited about that.
So am I.
So what I asked Tasha to speak about today specifically is one of her favorite current topics, which is the relationship. And I don't mean the dating relationship because they're not dating, but the relationship between Cam and Chelsea in the Big Brother 26 house. So I want to start from the beginning when they all came into the house and Chelsea and Cam, they were in this alliance, sort of. And then young Cedric joined this alliance. I guess Cam actually started this alliance, and it was the Triple C's.
Hmm.
So at that time, I guess they were just all friends and they were all aligned together.
Hmm.
But Cam seemed to have more interests in Leah at that time.
Hmm.
So let's break that part of it down. What were you seeing at that time?
Well, I was seeing basically Leah being um, flirty and fun and not really taking herself seriously. And I thought that Cam kind of gravitated towards that.
So what do you think made him gravitate towards that?
Probably because the attention that he was getting from her.
Hmm.
People crave it. Well, I don't want to say crave, but they like attention. And so I think that he was one of the ones I believe in this package that was interested in the showmance or something close to it. And he took interest in her. But I believe that according to um, Chelsea, I think he started flirting with her first, but then Leah turned it on because that's what her strategy was.
Hmm.
And he stopped actually flirting with Chelsea and gravitated towards Leah. So,
Mm. So I remember you saying that Chelsea and Cam actually had a talk at some point down the line
mhm,
where she was expressing how she felt about this flirt mance
mhm.
that he had with Leah and what was going on in that particular conversation.
Well, she basically she had a connection with Leah, and when she would talk to Leah, Leah would always say negative things about Cam, and I guess she don't like it. So it bothered her that Cam was spending a lot of time with Leah and kind of she thought that it could jeopardize the Pentagon, but I think it was a little bit more. I think she was interested in him from the get-go. She was interested in him at first. It wasn't about the Pentagon, but she had actually got Cedric on board to actually talk to Cam to bring him back to the other side because he was doing more of canoodling with Leah instead of strategically working with the group.
So what do you think that Cam actually had an interest in Leah, or do you think that this was his game strategy or a combination of both? Where's your mind going with that?
Yeah, I think it was a combination of both. I
Mhm.
think that it started off as, something harmless. And the more he started talking to her, I think he really fell for her.
Mhm.
And that's what she wanted. That was her strategy. But she was doing this not only with Cam, she was doing it with all the men that were in the
Mhm.
house, with
Mhm.
the exception of Kenny.
Yes, because he was a married man. He's a
Exactly.
married father.
Yeah,
He wasn't a married mother, but he was a married father. So
exactly.
I think that for me, what I was seeing, that was kind of Leah's baseline and Leah's strategy.
Mhm,
Like I think that his interest in her was always more genuine than her interest in him.
mhm,
Hers was more somewhat attention seeking and then also somewhat gameplay, which I have come around to realize more recently. Like,
mhm.
I am going to have these guys, they're all going to want to do what I want. I'm going to get them to be able to save me and keep my name out of conversations about going on the block. She hasn't been on the block, has she?
Has not been on the block. Her and
And
T.
she has still not been on the block, and she still will not because, as we know, Quinn was the one who was selected instead of her.
Mm-hmm.
So that strategy has worked out well. So transitioning from that, when things started to change
Hmm.
between Cam and Chelsea, what was the turning point that led to that?
I believe when Leah basically just stopped flirting with him.
Mm-hmm.
And around the same time, Chelsea had already pulled him to, well, I don't even know it was Chelsea, but either Chelsea or Cedric pulled him to the side and told him all the things that Leah was saying and doing, and that that he couldn't trust her. So he just stopped really speaking to her.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I think he didn't speak to her for like about 3 weeks. And then one day because he needed her as a number, he decided when Chelsea and Cam got into get game get exposed, he decided to bring them in as numbers, her and MJ. So that's when he started talking to her again.
Speaking of MJ,
Hmm.
what do you think of this whole, I don't know what to call it, but the three of them, where they're together a lot, MJ, Cam, and Chelsea, and sometimes um Cam was cuddled up with Chelsea, and sometimes he was cuddled up with MJ.
Hmm.
And you were telling me earlier, and you were saying earlier that you think that MJ was aware that Chelsea had these feelings, but
Hmm.
she also has some feelings of her own. Would you say that that's accurate to what you feel?
Yes, that is very accurate. I think that as women, we know when someone else is feeling somebody that we like. And it wasn't like it was a secret, really. I mean, it was unspoken, but most of the people in the house thought they had a secret. Chelsea and Kim had a secret showmance anyway. So how does everybody else, including the men? So how does everyone else know and she not know? She knew that Chelsea liked Cam, and there was a possibility that Cam could have liked Chelsea.
When you explained it that way, I did think more about it, and I was thinking to myself, everybody in the house is talking about it. Even even Leah is talking about it, and Leah's not really in the loop with that group like that.
Mm-mm,
So I'm like, not only is it the worst kept secret in the house, you can see the type of vibes that they have. At first, when I saw Cam laying around with Mackenzie
mm-hmm,
and she was, scratching his head and everything, I didn't think much of it. Um, Especially on her end. That's what I'm saying. I didn't think much of it on either of their ends, honestly. I just thought that Cam likes that. Uh,
I actually, it I got red flags. I was
did
like,
you? You know
Yeah.
what?
What? Mhm.
No, I was just gonna say that's what like I feel like sometimes women can be more observant to things than men.
When I saw it, I was kind of shocked. I'm like, why is he allowing her to rub his head? And I think I only I started listening to some of the things that Chelsea was saying, how they would have nighttime talk. And of course, we couldn't see it on the feed. So I'm only going by what she's saying. And I'm like, well, if they're having these type of talks, like these are deep talks. These are not like surface level talks.
Hmm.
And if they're having these type of talks, why is he allowing um to me that means that there's some type of interest.
Hmm.
So if you're putting off, maybe there could be potentially something after the show, then to me you move a little differently. Not saying that she's going to be your girlfriend after the show, or you're going to even date after the show, but you tend to move a little differently. But Cam, he wasn't. So I was like, I thought it was odd.
But I wanted to talk to you about a hot take that you've given, a
Mm-hmm,
different take that you've given
mm-hmm.
over the past couple of days that is contrary to what a lot of other people are saying
Yes.
from the Chelsea side of things. So I want to ask you here, what do you think that Chelsea could have done differently in expressing her emotions with Cam? And do you think that in any sense she was dropping the ball in any way with him?
I definitely think she was dropping the ball. I think that Chelsea is kind of the type that she's no nonsense. She's fun, but she's no nonsense. So she's looking for a significant other. She's not looking for a fling
Yep.
or something, a showman. She's looking for a relationship, a marriage of that sort. And so I think that she basically kind of put up a lot of walls. And I think that it kind of hurt her um, during this process. I
Hmm.
think that yeah, she's opening up to him at nighttime. That's why he loves talking to her. Even he can't go to sleep without talking to her at night. So she has to be in the room when he goes to sleep, which is another red flag. What's going on? But uh, she during the day, she's always ragging on in front of everybody. Talking about his ashy feet.
Yep. He smells.
Talking about he smells and knowing he doesn't smell. The truth came out that he doesn't actually smell. Not even his shoe, even his shoes that he wears without socks doesn't smell. She came out and told the truth. She did it twice. He did it today, and then a couple of days ago, he said he was saying how my feet don't stink, and she said he's right. His feet doesn't stink, but he does have ashy feet. So I know that she was doing that. I knew she had liked them because some of those things are the things that we've done in high school, and I remember that she's only 27. She's a young
Yeah,
girl,
yeah.
and so she is giving him attention by kind of ragging on him a little bit, even though she likes him. But I think she does a little bit too much to make a person feel like some kind of way. Like, does this person actually like me? Because they keep ragging on me. So, oh,
What do you think of the way that each of them is navigating their personal relationship and the game that has to be played?
um, I believe that Cam is a laid back type of person, very chill,
Hmm.
and so I don't think that he really thinks beyond what's in front of him. And so he's thinking, um, I need to elevate my game. And the only way for me to elevate my game is to get closer to people that I can have in my corner. So I'm gonna flirt. I'm gonna be friendly to all the guys, so all the
Mhm.
guys like me, and then I'm gonna flirt with all the women, so all the women like me. And that's how I think he tried to maneuver the game. And Chelsea is more of everybody likes her, but she's hard. I remember Joseph, he said that, oh, they asked Joseph to give one word about Chelsea after in one of his interviews, and he said that basically, oh, a couple of words, a few words, and he said that she's smart but she's mean.
Mm.
And I think that um, I don't think that she's mean, but she's tough,
Yes.
and she's gonna let you know if you step out of line, or she's gonna let you know if her feelings are hurt. And so I think that you don't sometimes people don't understand a person or a woman, especially a black woman that expresses herself the way that Chelsea does, which
Mm.
I don't find it off-putting. I understand it, and maybe because I'm a black woman. So
Mhm.
I understand it. You have to be tough
Mhm.
because you don't want people to walk over you. You don't want to be mishandled, mistreated. And so she has a lot of weight on her.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I so agree with you. I think that I mean, I don't know this because I haven't looked that deeply into it, but I would venture to say that Cam was like a jock in school, and I'm
mhm,
pretty sure he was, a popular guy, and it seems like that's probably just the nature of how he was. It wasn't like he was doing anything over the top. He was
mhm,
just, I'm just cool and calm Cam.
mhm,
Ladies just gravitate towards me, and the guys are like my bros. Everyone likes me. Even when
mhm,
I looked back and saw his one of his interviews, one of the pregame interviews, that's
mhm,
pretty much what he said.
mhm.
Like, I'm gonna be Cam, I'm gonna be cool, and I'm just gonna make everyone like me. He didn't even say anything about big brother, I want to be like this person from a past season, or this is gonna be my strategy. It was literally like, I'm just going to be somebody that everybody likes. That's my strategy.
Mhm.
Whereas I can see exactly what you're saying about Chelsea because, I grew up around black women, strong black women
Mhm.
who had to do extra to prove themselves.
Mhm.
So there's some dynamics there between him that there's some obstacles I feel that she has to go through that he doesn't have to go through.
Right.
Like he can flirt with whoever, and it's just oh, it's just Cam being Cam. Who cares? It's not like they're gonna say that Cam is, like Cam's a thought. You know,
Mhm.
Cam is just throwing himself out there. But
Right.
if you saw Chelsea going around, and well, we have an example of that, Leah
Leah.
are not painting Leah in a good light for using a strategy that is somewhat similar to him. But I wanted to address the guard up part.
Mhm.
I know that people like that tend to a lot of times actually be very sweet and
Mhm.
very loving. But like you said, you have to get past all these like wired fences before you get there.
Right.
And I
Right.
feel like that's happening with Cam where Cam feels like more of an immediate need to be
Right.
like, you need to let some of this down like right now for me to maintain my interest.
Mhm.
And she's like, no, you have to get through all of this
Right.
before I even give you the chance to see that other part, except for what you're saying. He
Mhm.
sees parts of that,
Right.
given him enough, the potential is giving him enough to like maintain that he still is interested to see what could happen. But I think he feels a frustration that it's not happening fast enough.
I agree. And he did ask her, I know one of the conversations that they had, He asked her, how could he help, or something about letting being vulnerable. He wanted her to be more vulnerable. And I think that part of part of it is seeing him move throughout the house, is
Hmm.
not allowing her to be more vulnerable with him. I think that she feels that probably once they're outside of the house, it'll be totally different because she's able to be herself, he's able to be himself. But in the house, you have to be careful. And then by him flirting with these women, or these women chasing him, is making her feel another kind of way. So we, even though there's an understanding that we may see what happens outside the house,
Hmm.
better believe it. She's watching. You
Yes.
watch your every move.
Yeah.
Oh, this is what you do. Okay, I see how you move.
You know what? Okay, this is what I had to say. Even though I always talk about, the Big Brother house is a whole different animal, it's different set of circumstances that people don't usually see in regular life. But the other part of it is human tendencies do tend to be human tendencies. They might be magnified in the house, but there are certain things and certain behaviors that you can see that might be how the person is in some ways outside of the house.
That's
So, yeah, so you know that especially on her end, just like you were just saying, I know that she's looking and saying, okay, at the beginning, I didn't express anything to him. So he's a free agent. We just walked in this house. I don't hold him accountable for even if I felt hurt. I
Mhm.
don't hold him accountable for that because we didn't have any discussions about that.
Right.
Then she was probably like, from the point that I did have the discussion, now I'm really paying attention to everything else that he's done from there.
Mm-hmm.
Does he respect my feelings?
Mm-hmm.
Does he pay attention to when I'm in the room with these other people and him and see and feel that I'm not liking what's happening and respect, my personal feelings? And she's kind of seeing, I don't necessarily think that. But then she also is, I bet her mind is going all over the place
Mm-hmm.
because she's also like, we're in a game.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, how much of that can I let go of? And she has her reservations because we saw her express them to him, even though you didn't like the edit. Even though
Oh,
you know you
it
didn't
was,
even though I know you didn't like the edit of Sunday's episode. I didn't like the edit either, but it shows that they did have a conversation. I know it just dropped that part of it out of the blue, but I think that it was legitimate. Not necessarily the game loyalty part. I think that she was kind of just throwing that out there to see what he would say. I think maybe she has like a little 10% of doubt of that. I don't really think that she thinks that he would keep Mackenzie or Leah over her.
I don't think so.
I don't think she really thinks that. Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't think that she, I don't think that she thinks that either, but I think she needed the reassurance.
Yes, she needed
So I
assurance.
think that she trusts him, even though she told us on the feeds that she didn't trust him. That was just anger talking. She trusts him, but she needed reassurance from him.
Yeah.
The one of the things that she said was, he kept saying, "Did you talk to T Court?"
Hmm.
And she said, I think she said yes. But why does she have to talk to T Court? He should be telling her how he feel and that she's his number one. And that's her whole point. Are you using me just to get to the end and for a number? And so I understand where she's coming from, and but I do think that she trusts him. She just needed to hear from him that they're rocking together.
Hmm. And I said this before, but if I'm comparing this to like past relationships, like I mean, if I'm thinking recently, if I'm comparing this to like Jared and Blue or Monty and Taylor, those ones felt more like we've been in the house X amount of time and we're not seeing anybody else. And I just want to express myself physically.
Right.
And this one is the exact opposite,
Hmm.
where they have hardly had any kind of physical affection with each other.
No hug,
It's
no
yeah, no, like
touch.
right.
I'm like,
Right.
girl, give him a hug.
So I want to know, like, do you think that they have a good chance to make something happen when they leave this house?
I do, but I think it's part of it is up to her, how she navigates these last 4 weeks, because if she continues to do what she's doing, she's gonna be friend zone. And I'm serious. And so it's hard to get from friend zone back to romantic.
It's impossible.
Right, exactly. So I think that she needs to tear down some of those walls, not all of them, but tear down enough where he knows that she's interested, enough that he knows that uh, that there could be something outside of the house. I think that there needs to be. I think they have conversations,
Yeah,
but when I hear them sometimes talk, like even when she was grilling him when she won the HOH,
yeah,
she was kind of vague. And
yeah,
so you're, yes, you're talking about game, but really, are we talking about game?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I think that she needs to communicate better with him. And I know in the past he said that they communicated really well, but, and maybe they do, but when adversity hits, maybe she's a little bit more closed because she doesn't want to come out and say that she likes him.
You know what else, Tasha?
Mm-hmm.
Communication styles.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes communication styles are so different. So Cam and Chelsea could enter into this conversation. They talk, he says what he has to say, she says what she has to say. He could leave the conversation and be like, "We good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm so glad we had this conversation. Everything is resolved."
Mm-hmm.
And then she has a million more things in her head.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Are we good?" She's like, "Yeah." And he might not get the context clues. I feel like there's some people who you can't just hint at or exhibit a certain behavior and expect them to be like, "Oh, what's wrong?" Like, I want, like not everyone has that kind of perception and intuition to them. Some
Mm-hmm.
people you have to spell it out. And I feel like she would benefit the things that she wants. I think it
Mm-hmm.
would be beneficial for her to be like, "Cam, this is what I'm feeling. This is what I would like for you to do. This is
Mm-hmm.
what I don't like when you do this." Because I feel like she kind of throws it in there at times
Mm-hmm.
after she gets upset, instead of just taking the time to just be like, "Let me lay it out here for you."
Mm-hmm. It kind of reminds me of when I think T Cora asked them, they were out in the backyard, asked, I think a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, where she asked what would they eat when they leave the BB house.
Hmm.
And she was saying that she wanted Cajun fries and some lemon pepper wings.
Hmm.
And so he understood that. So what did he do? He went and made her
You
some
were
little
talking about that.
wings, yes, and had asked Rabina if she could make her some Cajun fries. So he is receptive, but she has to learn how to, when she wants something, she can't like be passive about it.
Hmm.
And I think that's part of the problem. And it maybe stem from, being scared and not knowing where he stands, or, because I know, especially at that age, we're taught that the man is supposed to, ask you out on a
Pursue.
date. The man is supposed to ask for your hand in marriage. You
Yeah.
wait on the man. The
Yeah.
man does this, da 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 da.
Yeah.
And so we sit and we wait for someone to come into our life. And when they do, and they don't do the things that we think that society tells us that they're supposed to do, we kind of like take a step back and like, well, what's wrong with him or what's wrong with me?
Hmm.
So I think that, but a lot of it is communication. I think that if she expressed herself more where he's able to understand, I think that it will go a long way. Because he's even said to her, if let me know if you have, even with this past situation that they had,
Hmm.
he told her that if you have any doubts or are assuming anything, come to me and let me know. So he's open to it, and
Hmm.
she needs to get herself together as well. So
I can see your point here. I can definitely see your point that he is not somebody who's brushing her off. He's not dismissing her. He's not invalidating her, at least in conversation.
mhm.
So it seems like he's just like, give me some clarity.
Mhm.
Let me know
That's
what you want.
mhm,
Let me know what
mhm,
you like. Let me know what you don't like.
mhm,
And we can move from there.
mhm.
And she's like, figure it out.
Yes, that's what we do as women. He should know what I like. I just told him this last week, but that was a different subject. That
Hmm.
was something that was like last week, but this is a new subject, and you need to let them know or let him know what it is that you want, and stop, you know, uh, being passive aggressive or being passive. You have to open your mouth. Don't be afraid to talk and have boundaries.
Boundaries. Yeah, that's a big one.
Mhm.
So where do you think the boundaries need to happen?
Um, I think that she was kind of setting some in her this latest talk that she had with him.
Hmm.
She was a little strong arming him, but she was trying to set boundaries. But I thought that it still was too passive,
Yeah.
because you're talking about you're speaking game talk, but you're really talking personal.
Yes. I felt that way.
Yes, so it's conflating the two, and sometimes people don't understand. And when I say people, I mean men. Sometimes men don't get the lid out on the table.
I'm not gonna lie. I've been there. I've been in that type of thing where if I didn't have it spelled out with with a banner flying over my head,
Mhm.
like, what? I didn't even realize what was going on. Like, I didn't know that.
Exactly, exactly. So, I mean, I know, because when the whole situation happened, I was a little bit in my feelings, because I could remember being her age
Hmm.
and experiencing the same things when I meet someone or someone that I really like,
Hmm.
and I was too either scared to say anything or to have a conversation with someone. For instance, a lot of people like texting. I'm not a
Oh.
texter, right? I
Mm.
like to talk on, well, I don't like talking on the phone. I'll take that back. I don't like talking on the phone, but if it's a man that I like, I will talk to them on the phone. So I don't want someone that I'm interested in texting me.
Hmm.
And for a long time, I would allow it to happen, because they would text, and I'm like, shouldn't this be a conversation about what it is that I like? with phone etiquette. I shouldn't have to text them on the phone. Don't text me. I like phone conversations. I
Hmm.
think it's
Hmm.
just it's tacky. And so, but I would allow it and not put up boundaries. And those are the type of things is that's um simple, but a lot of times if you don't set those boundaries, people don't take you very seriously.
Absolutely. So, Tasha, I want to thank you. I've really enjoyed this talk. And I did want to end with two questions for you
Mm-hmm.
because you've talked about this younger self that you see within Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were able to be in the house, like if they said, we're bringing Tasha over here as an advisor,
Mm-hmm.
and you had like a couple of minutes just to give Chelsea some advice,
Mm-hmm.
what would you say to her?
I would say to her um, that don't be afraid to take risks. Don't
Mm,
be afraid to show your heart.
mm,
If you want something, there's nothing wrong with you going after it. And I'm not talking about chasing after a man, but letting it known that uh, you are interested. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You let them know and see if it bites. If it doesn't, then oh well, it's all good. But um, don't hide. And that's
mhm,
what I feel that she's doing. She's hiding, and in in this cocoon, and he has to peek up inside the cocoon. Oh, I can't see myself.
mhm,
Peek
mhm,
inside the cocoon, and um, it can be exhausting sometimes. So she shows a little bit of her personality, but then she goes and runs and hides. And I think
mhm.
that if she is more open to being vulnerable, I think she would I think that their relationship could probably work on the outside.
I love that answer as a matter of fact. Like sometimes people think it's kind of an old school mentality that toughness is not showing your emotions.
Mhm.
Toughness is just being able to navigate through the situation. You don't cry, you don't yell. You're just like, I'm just gonna keep going through and I'm not gonna let anyone know what's going on the inside.
Mhm.
And those kind of things tend to make people miss out on opportunities. Um, People and things and opportunities pass them by.
Yes,
And then also they're suffering on the inside.
exactly.
So it's not like it's just that they're going through and the toughness that they show everyone else is what they actually feel themselves. She could actually be hurting.
She said it. She,
Right.
she
So,
said, I just wanted to make this comment. She
yeah.
said to T-Core that when she had a discussion with her, T-Core said, you are really disguising it well. I would never know that you're upset. And
Yes.
she was like, really? She was like, because I'm dying inside. And it's unfortunate that she has to suffer in silence
Mm,
just so he wouldn't know how she's feeling, or and she might think that maybe is not really her place to even say anything because they're not together.
hmm.
It could be it
That's
too.
probably part of it too. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So the last one is now, if you were in the position of the Chelsea
mhm,
talking to the Cam
mhm.
at that point in time, what would you decide to say to him as advice?
Him as it
Yes, what would you say to him? Hmm.
oh wow.
That's harder, huh?
um Probably give her grace. um see it from her point of view, try to really see why she's as guarded as she is. What could he do to help with those bring her walls down?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that he would be surprised
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
if he, took the time to really not just talk to her at nighttime, but talk to her during the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I know one day
You
he
could
did
take some
say
initiative.
yes. And I think one day he said to her, he asked her, oh no, he he told her that basically what he wanted, because he told her that she looked nice one day,
Mm-hmm.
and she was like, yeah, right. Or something like that. And so he
He's
said,
probably like, take the compliment.
exactly. So he said that I said that you were nice, and he's like, you're mean to me. And she was like, so what do you want me to do? What do you want from me?
Mm-hmm.
He said, I want you to say good morning when you see me. I
Mm-hmm.
want this, and that. And so I think both needs to really take a look at what the other wants,
Mm-hmm.
and um and actually do it. So
Mm-hmm.
if he wants to be wants good mornings, give him a good morning.
Mm-hmm.
If you needs a hug, give him a hug. He's a touchy-feely person.
Mm-hmm.
Give him a hug. But you know what she did? I know she did say that he said that he likes physical touch. So that's his love language.
Mm-hmm.
But he likes to he told her that he likes to initiate the physical touch. And that might be the reason why she doesn't hug him. He
Mm-hmm.
told me he likes to initiate it. But I'm like, it's just a hug.
Yeah. Overthinking it possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I think that that was amazing advice. I really enjoyed this conversation, the first, and I look forward to having a lot more and viewing them on your platform, right?
Yeah, this is so crazy. Wow. Thank you. I really enjoyed it. And this was different.
Mhm. And I have to
So,
mention to everybody, this was very impromptu. Even though I have mentioned this in the past, today's video was something that was just the spur of the moment. I asked Tasha if she would do it. She was like, okay. We figured out the questions on the spot. I think she answered them really well for on the spot. Like there was no notes that she had of some chronological order of everything. She was just remembering what she's been seeing over the past 50 something odd days. And we're gonna figure this out some more and fine tune it. And I can't wait to see what comes from that.
sounds good. Loving it.
All right. So Tasha's talks, and we are signing out.
Bye. That's cool.